If you have a Traeger unit smoker that is not heating up as it should, it could be a myriad of things. It could be the hotspot igniter, which is located inside here, and it's basically located inside the chamber that the auger feeds the pellets into. So if that goes bad, which it actually has on this unit before and we've had to replace that, then that could be one cause. Another possible cause could also be that the auger motor fan quit running. There are two fans within this particular unit, which is actually a very old unit. It's one of the older US-made units, which was one of the last USA-made units that my dad had purchased from his work about 15 years ago. So we've had this for about 15 years now, I think since around the 2009 probably mark or so. And now it has sat obviously through the weather, and it's sat through the winters, most of the time just untouched, and that's why you can tell it's all rusted away there, and it's really weathered off. The badge where it would normally be is missing too, as you can see. And so now it's had a problem developed where when you turn it on, it doesn't matter what setting you put it on, you can hear the auger motor rotating in there. But it doesn't have the power like it used to. And normally you should get like a more airy kind of sound running when you turn that on. And the reason for that, as I had mentioned a moment ago, these Traeger units, like mine, they have two fan units like this, fan motor units, I should say, and they're just little C-frame style motors. They have these 5-bladed fans on them. One of them drives the auger, which has a fan on the other end of it to kind of keep things cool on that side. And then this is this is actually the main fan unit, which could be considered a convection fan. And what that does is it blows air into the chamber that there is, that it's feeding the pellets into, which in turn propels the flame in here, which would ignite inside here, which is covered on all that stuff, and I'm not going to take that out right now to show you, but it would feed the pellets into this little, like, whatever you want to call it, this chamber thing that has where the hot surface igniter is located, and that would ignite the pellets. And when the convection fan is running, the convection basically propels the flame so that it burns the pellets more effectively, so to speak, and then it'll continue feeding the pellets in, and until the thermostat here or whatever tells it to shut off till it's hot enough, and it's sort of controlled that way. And what can happen over time if you have it, if you like left it out like we have, and it gets weathered over time, the blades on here can get brittle because they're just plastic fan blades, and they can get very brittle over time and possibly even break off. And that's actually what's happened on this one, and I'll show you here on the underside, if I can get a good enough view. It's very webby and dirty down here, as you can tell, but so right there, if the camera will adjust so you can see up in there, there is where your convection fan would normally be. And if you can see kind of in there, it's kind of hard to get my hand there, but you can see some of the blades on that fan are broke off. And it's still, I think it's still, when I last tested it, it still worked, but it's not. Yeah, see, it still runs, but it's missing those couple of blades, so it's basically had its day. And when that happens, it's a good idea to replace those. And they have these parts they have the part you can order off of Amazon, or I don't know, I'd have to look more into if Traeger sells them directly, but they are, this is, I believe that might be the part number. I mean, you can look it up, look up all the part numbers for what your particular unit needs, but I think from what it was written, for this particular one, it says it fits most Traeger units, so you just have to look up the part numbers and match them to what your unit has and go from there. But this video is going to show, in any case, how to replace this fan. So I'm going to do that now and show you step by step on how to do that. This is a very simple repair, and you only need one tool to complete this repair. And that is just simply a 1/4 inch nut driver socket. You can get them anywhere pretty much, at Harbor Freight or even at Walmart if you don't have one already. And there are 4 of those nut driver 1/4 inch screws on all 4 corners here that you're going to remove. And there's one there and one over back there, which is hard to see there. And you want to unplug this too, by the way. Have this unplugged while you're doing this. And you just remove those screws in order to dismount the assembly. And make sure you don't lose them, because chances are good the unit you bought probably isn't going to come with those. So you'll want to save these and have them, place them somewhere safe. Okay, have your other hand on the unit so you don't drop it, and then it just drops right out. Set those other screws aside. Then there is just a, you'll have to kind of find where the wires go into this bundle of wires here, and find the appropriate connector to that and disconnect it. And then you should be able to remove the entire thing. And I believe, if my eyes are telling me correctly, looks like it's these wires right here. So we'll disconnect that just like that, and we'll undo them. Everything here is kind of, it's all zip tied together here, so you'll have to work the wires out from the zip tie here, and if necessary you may even have to cut either the wires themselves or the zip tie and put a new one on when you're finished. So with that out of the way, you can now go ahead and get your new fan unit ready for installation. So you want to remember the orientation that you took the old one out. So like if it's this way or that way, you want to remember which orientation your unit is in. So if you need to take pictures or whatever, do that. So once you get the new unit in place, get the first screw started, threaded by hand, then you can tighten that like that, and then you should be able to screw put the rest of the screws in easily enough without holding it in place. And then this, it's important to note too that this other screw right here on this side has a little, you can see I'm holding a ground wire terminal that'll screw in with that. So just be sure to line that up, get it aligned and screwed in. You might need to help with your other hand doing that, but it's no big deal there. And once you get those aligned, just like that, and then you can finish it off with the rest of the screws. Okay, fan's mounted where it needs to be. Now all that's left is just to hook up our wire connections here. So just find the one you disconnected, which would be this one right here, and it's keyed. If you noticed, one side is pointed there and the other side is flat. So just match that up with what the female, or I guess in this case male, this is female, which way they go in, and connect it together like that till you feel it click in firm like that. And then it's up to you if you want to tie this all back together. You probably need you'll have to get a new zip tie or whatever you want to use just to bundle it up so it's not quite so messy. Otherwise it's not, any big deal if you just leave it like that. I think the heat really is more on that side, and the fan's just gonna kind of direct the heat away from the wires as it is anyway, so it's not like it ever really becomes a problem down the road. Just make sure it's out of the way of any of the fan blades. It's the biggest thing, I guess. So, alright, and with that, you can plug your unit back in and give it a shot. I think it's working now. Maybe. And sure as can be, we have convection. You can hear the difference. Give you kind of a before and an after. So with that, the Traeger is now fixed again and ready to be used. So you can hear the air kind of flowing through there too. The pellets are getting low, so we'll have to kind of refill those, but the auger is working. If I turn it to high, it'll continue to feed the pellets so they start smoking, and then we should have smoke here in a moment to start with, and then it'll start flaming, and that's gonna conclude this video. So I hope this repair helped you out, and if it did, please consider clicking the like and subscribe buttons so that I know that this video helped you out and I can continue to provide them for you in the future. So thank you very much for watching. As usual, have a great day. And as you would expect, it's working as it should. We have smoke coming out now. That's always what you should see at first when you have pellets feeding through and they're starting to burn, as with any smoker. So yep, she's working perfectly now. You can really hear the flame coming in now. She's roaring. Good. By the way, that's what the old assembly looks like. 15 years. It's actually missing 2 of its blades, and it's how charred it all looks. It's just from years and years of use and neglect. So it's never a bad idea to clean your units out of all this when the time is right. So, because that can actually prolong the life of these components like this. So, another little tip.